Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Rundown with me, Zulfick Farzan. 6 years ago, something unimaginable, something unexpected and something unthinkable took place. It was a word that all Sri Lankans had put behind them after almost 3 decades of conflict. Today marks 6 years since the tragic Easter Sunday attacks that targeted several prominent churches and hotels in Sri Lanka. The nation mourns the loss of 272 precious lives and over 500 individuals were injured in this horrific event. In remembrance of those we lost, numerous religious ceremonies are being organized across the country. The main service will take place at St. Anthony's Shrine in Kochikade. Now here's a Reverend Father Jude Krishanta Fernando from the Archdiocese of Colombo commenting on what to expect today.
The commemoration service will begin at 8:30 a.m. at St. Anthony's Shrine in Kochikade. We've prepared this ceremony together with families of those directly affected by the attacks. A nationwide 2-minute silence will be observed at 8:45 a.m. and we call on every citizen to pause in memory of the victims. At 8:45 a.m. bells will ring not only in our churches but also in places of worship of other faiths. This is not just a Christian remembrance but a shared moment of reflection for all Sri Lankans. A service will take place at St. Sebastian's Church in Katuapitiya beginning at 8:15 a.m. At 5:30 p.m. a special evening service will also be held at the same church.
That was Reverend Father Jude Krishanta Fernando, the Director of Media at the Archdiocese of Colombo. Now, this afternoon at St. Sebastian's Church in Katuapitiya, a special service will be held in honor of the faithful who lost their lives in the Easter Sunday attacks. Now, for the first time, these individuals will be recognized as martyrs of faith. Meanwhile, to commemorate the 6th anniversary of the Easter Sunday attacks, special services will be held at St. Anthony's Shrine in Kochikade and St. Lucia's Cathedral in Cotahaina. As a result, traffic around those churches will be restricted. Now, Sri Lanka Police have announced that a procession will take place from St. Lucia's Cathedral in Cotahaina to St. Anthony's Shrine in Kochikade, followed by a special service at St. Anthony's Shrine. The procession will start at 7 a.m. and that's from St. Lucia's Cathedral, proceeded through Bonjin Junction, turn left on Galpothu roundabout, continue through Galpothu Road and travel via Jampeta Street to reach St. Anthony's Shrine. Now therefore, from 7 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. certain roads in the Foreshore Police Division will be temporarily closed. Sri Lanka Police has requested motorists and the general public who are frequently using those areas to use alternative routes to avoid any inconvenience. Now at the same time, a special service to commemorate the 6th anniversary of the Easter Sunday attacks will be broadcast live on Sirasa TV at 8:40 this morning. Now the service will also be streamed live on our Newsfirst Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Now this service is expected to draw a gathering of prominent individuals from the Catholic Church and also from the diplomatic corps. Now, Sri Lankan President Anurukumara Dissanayake has said that the opportunity has been provided to conduct an independent investigation into the 2019 Easter Sunday terror attacks. This year marks the 6th anniversary of the Easter Sunday attacks. For the past 5.5 years, efforts were made to cover up the attacks rather than investigate them. The previous cabinet of ministers decided not to enact the report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. This means that the governments over the past 5.5 years were focused on concealing the crime rather than uncovering the truth. During such a period, many things can be hidden away. The current government, which has been in power for 6 months, is committed to investigating this crime. We are informed that some investigations are yielding fruitful results, conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department. We will not interfere and have paved the way for more independent investigations to take place. The government of the National People's Power is dedicated to serving justice to the victims of these attacks. We will strengthen the investigating agencies and ensure independent inquiries are conducted. The Attorney General's Department will prosecute based on these investigations and the judiciary will deliver the verdict. The people have entrusted the NPP government with a responsibility. You have given us the strength and support and we will fulfill that responsibility. Now that was President Anura Kumara Dissanayake speaking at a public rally late last evening. Now His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, the Archbishop of Colombo, has delivered a poignant message reflecting on the dangers of power and domination, drawing parallels with some of history's most notorious figures.
When Joseph Stalin was ruling Russia, he asked the question, how many legions does the Pope have? He thought that the Pope is going to conquer the world with his legions and that the Church is a worldly reality. He was completely mistaken. But he was one who killed more than 60 million of his own people during his reign. An absolute dictator. Simultaneously, we had in Germany Adolf Hitler, another terrible man, who gassed 6 million Jews and dissidents in his famous killing fields, the gas chambers of Germany. Number of years before, we had another one like that in Pol Pot, who murdered millions of his fellow citizens in the killing fields of Cambodia. Many such evil people have appeared in this planet. What did they want to do? They wanted to become conquerors of the whole world, and they thought that they could live forever. In fact, Hitler was looking for a formula to extend his life. He never could find such a formula. Why did they want to live long? Because they wanted to dominate. The inclination of man to dominate life is tremendous. Carl Gustav Jung, a famous psychoanalyst, calls this inclination the basic inclination in human nature. It is because the devil has got hold of all these people. Jesus Christ never doubted that the devil was a force among us in the human life. Pope Francis, in this beautiful apostolic exhortation on holiness, calls Satan a real power. Why do you find all these human beings destroying and killing each other for the sake of power? We had it even in our own country. Power to dominate others. It's a tremendous thing. Once you sit in the seats of power, you forget that you are just like any other human being. There's no difference whatsoever. But these authorities forget about it. That is why they bring misery to humanity.
That was His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit. The Siri Dalada Vandanava, or the sacred veneration of the tooth relic of Lord Buddha, continues today as well, marking the 4th day of the sacred event dedicated to the global Buddhist community. The Siri Dalada Vandanava, which began on the 18th of April, offers devout Buddhists the opportunity to pay homage to the sacred relic for a period of 10 days, concluding on April 27th. Over the past few days, hundreds of thousands of devotees have flocked to Kandy, and today similar numbers are expected to participate in the veneration of the sacred relics. In the evenings, dansal food stalls are to be set up to serve those waiting in line. Now, last night, the Muslim community in Kandy organized a dansal food stall demonstrating unity and compassion. Additionally, under the leadership of the Mahasangha, another dansa last night with the support of the armed forces. Civil organizations, various religious groups and volunteers have come forward to provide services for the convenience of the devotees, showcasing the spirit of generosity and unity. Some religious rituals dedicated to the sacred relic will be conducted at the Sri Dalda Maligava, or the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, as the Sri Dalda Vandanava will resume at noon today, concluding at 5:30 p.m. Now, since April 18th and until the 27th of April, the Sri Dalada Vandanava, or the sacred veneration of the tooth relic of the Lord Buddha, will be held daily from noon until 5:30 p.m., awarding devotees from all corners of the country to pay their respects. Now, on the same note, several schools in the Kandy city limits have been granted holidays from today until the 25th in view of the Sri Dalada Vandanava. The Central Provincial Education Office stated that if the exposition period is extended, the closure of these schools will continue accordingly. Now, these schools are closed to allocate and to provide accommodation for the police and Tri-Forces personnel deployed for security in Kandy for the Sri Dalada Vandanava. Now, additionally, they will also be used to house disabled and elderly pilgrims attending the Sri Dalada Vandanava as needed. Now, shifting gears to Sri Lanka's election landscape. Sri Lanka police has so far seized 17 vehicles in connection with violation of election laws. Additionally, 21 candidates and 70 supporters have been arrested for various offences. Authorities say 211 complaints have been received regarding violation of election laws and criminal activities linked to the local government election. Meanwhile, the Election Commission says that it received 162 complaints in the past 24 hours alone. The majority relates to the breach of election laws. According to the National Election Commission, the total number of complaints reported since the announcement of the local government election now stands at 1,874. Among these, 9 complaints are related to acts of violence. Now, if you just woke up, or if you woke up this morning, you would have experienced gloomy weather and some heavy rain accompanied by lightning and thunder. Well, according to the Met Department, showers or thunder showers will occur at several places across the island during this morning, afternoon and night. Fairly heavy falls of about 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the central, Sabaragamu and Uva provinces, and in the Hambantota, Ampara and Polonnaruwa districts as well. Now, showers or thunder showers will occur in the western, northern provinces and in the Gaul, Matara, Putlam districts during the morning hours as well. Now, as usual, the Met Department is urging the general public to exercise caution when there is thunder and lightning. And with that, we wrap up this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown. But do stay with us and follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. And also, for all the stories, for the very latest and more, visit www.newsfirst.lk. Until I see you again, take care and God bless.